Welcome to Doom Scroll Drama. Who's in the wrong here? Let's get to it. I, 23, female, went out last weekend with my partner John, 24, male, for an early birthday celebration with his friends. His birthday was the following weekend, but he wanted to celebrate early and invited me along. We met at his house and then rode with some of his friends to a pre-drink at one of their apartments before heading to a bar. The Uber dropped us off slightly away from the right spot, and as we walked, I was making conversation. John suddenly pulled me aside and told me I was acting crazy, talking too much, and that I should be quiet. That threw me off, but I let it go. At the apartment, I greeted everyone and sat at the table waiting for my sister, 20 female, to arrive. John asked me to sit with him and his friends, but I said I was fine where I was. One of his friends, Alex, sat near me and asked about uni, and we had a normal conversation until my sister came. She and I spoke in our native language, which John doesn't understand, and when he asked what we were saying, I told him it wasn't anything important. That seemed to irritate him. Later, when people asked why I was being quiet, I asked some of his friends if I had been acting crazy or annoying earlier. They all said no, which John overheard. At one point, John came into the room where I was with my sister and accused me again of being too high energy. He told me I should come down to his level. I said I shouldn't have to mirror him, and he got frustrated. Throughout the night, he kept coming up to me in front of others saying things like, "If you don't want to be here, you can F off." This happened more than once. At the bar, after he said it again and swore at me, I refused to kiss him when he demanded it. Eventually, after more swearing and him being in my face, I snapped. I knocked his drink out of his hand. Then when one of his friends offered me a drink, I poured it on John's head. He tried to push me away and ended up punching me in the shoulder. After that, I grabbed my sister and we left. Now John says I embarrassed him in front of his friends, ruined his birthday celebration, and made a huge scene. From my perspective, I was just trying to defend myself after being called crazy, dismissed, and repeatedly told to leave. For context, John had been drinking earlier in the day and also took some drugs at the pre-drinks. I was drinking too, but not heavily at that point of the altercation. This was the first time we've ever had an argument at this level. Normally, our disagreements are minor, like over movies. There was one past fight where he said I didn't do enough for him, but we resolved that after talking it through. We've been seeing each other from May to September, not officially in a relationship yet, but we've discussed being exclusive. So, am I the A for how I handled things that night? Edit. After leaving the bar, I ended up going to another party. I cried and was with my friends and told them about what had happened, and they supported me. Around 5:30 a.m., I went to John's house to grab the rest of my stuff. His dad let me in, but when I started asking John about where some of my things were, we got into another argument. His dad stepped in and suggested I come back the next day, but I refused. I told them I just wanted to get my things and be done with him. John and I ended up outside swearing at each other. He told me I humiliated him in front of his friends, and I told him he humiliated me first by swearing at me unprovoked multiple times. For most of the night when he was swearing at me, I was honestly in shock and just stayed quiet and refused to kiss him. He argued that I should have ignored it and acted like nothing happened, then talked later. At one point, John said I act like I can be controlled and that I should be more submissive to him. I've told him before I won't tolerate someone who tries to forcefully control me, and if that's what he wants, he can leave me alone. Hearing him double down on that confirmed what I'd already started realizing. Some background. The only other real fight we'd had was months earlier, when he said I wasn't doing enough for him. In reality, that came from me raising the issue that he was selfish in bed and I was left unsatisfied multiple times. I brought it up privately, and we discussed it more than once because I wanted to make sure I didn't make him insecure. During our text argument after the party, he told me I should go F someone else, and I asked if that's why he was being so nasty because of that past conversation. He said I was dishonorable and other insults. We went back and forth with the swears and text. In the end, I don't regret pouring the drink on him as much as I regret not removing myself the first time he spoke to me like that. And yes, I did tell him I did not want to be with him after the altercation at the bar, and reiterated while grabbing my things. Also,